I've got 99 problems and a motorcycle is every goddamn one. So today, I'm about to diagnose a non-running bike and show you the simple framework I use to solve many motorcycle problems quickly, sometimes not so quickly. Now, if you own a motorcycle, you will have problems at some point. That's like, if you exist, you will probably have to go to a doctor at some point.
And this engine is tearing my
But you've got two options of the bike, either DIY or pay to fix. Now, there is nothing wrong with either option, and I will be real. I have been in positions where I was absolutely stuck and had to take a bike to another professional to help me out. And in the process, I learned stuff. But I have found the majority of the problems you may experience can be identified fairly quickly with what's called a diagnostic tree, and they can be fixed fairly easily as well, saving you some coin and keep you from missing important rides. Today, I'm going to be diagnosing a Honda Shadow VT750 Spirit, but the concepts apply to nearly any motorcycle other than that monstrosity live wire thing, so this won't apply. So I'll share what the diagnostic tree is, how to use it, and I'll show you in practice. And I truly have no idea what the outcome is going to be, so this should be interesting. Now, I have been wrenching on bikes full-time for over 20 years, so I am basically just getting started, but I have learned a few things about fixing motorcycles, and today I'm going to share a few of those things with you. In exchange for sharing my best-kept secrets, go ahead and click the like button, because I asked you to. And you're a good person who believes that it should be legal to own a raccoon. Let's get started. So, what is the diagnostic tree? It's this thing. Actually, this is a ficus. This is not a diagnostic tree. Now, the motorcycle diagnostic tree is basically a step-by-step elimination process that helps you figure out why a bike isn't running correctly, and it follows a very strict order, so you're not just throwing parts and money at a problem. Now, that is one methodology, is just throw parts at it, throw money at it, and see if the problem goes away. But I promise you, that is the troglodyte way of fixing things. And we're not cavemen anymore, are we? Now, an engine will only run if three conditions are met: proper fuel delivery, correct ignition spark, and adequate compression. So instead of guessing, you test each one in sequence and let the results point you to the next check. Now, each branch of the tree is driven by real measurements. You've got fuel flow, spark quality and timing, compression numbers, not opinions and assumptions and bad ideas that a drunk guy at a house party gave you over a 12-pack of Coors. This is real science. So you follow the diagnostic tree, you verify each requirement, and the issue has nowhere left to hide. This doesn't mean that path is easy, so I'm preparing myself for the worst and hoping for the best here. Now let's dive in and put this science to use. Okay. So behold, the spruce douche. The major issue right now is it is not running. One of my guys informed me there's rust in the tank, and so I'm going to pop the tank open, look inside, and see if there's rust. That's the first thing I'm gonna do. I have already confirmed I have power. The battery's good. You can see this red light on my hand. Yes, the headlight functions. We've got good juice. Anti-gravity battery, they're fantastic. If you don't have one, you should get one. This ran in a video, which you may have seen. Actually, I'll put the link to it in the description. Super fun video. Want to ride with some friends down to Sunset Beach, but Spruce Douche was with us and Marin rode this at the time. I don't know what happened between then and now, but we went to start the bike a couple weeks after the ride and she was not running well. So I am going to try and diagnose this puppy. So I do know that the bike did run. We've got power, had a fresh oil change, all the electronics are good. All those things are ruled out. So what we do have a problem with though is when I started up, it was popping, sputtering, couldn't hold a steady idle, and we don't know why. Currently, what do I know is that the gas tank's empty. There's no gas in it, nothing's coming out. I do know that it's been sitting for a while, which, as anyone can tell you, that is a terrible thing for almost every motorcycle on the planet. So we may have our work cut out for us in that sense, but I am going to follow the diagnostic tree, and that is fuel, spark, compression. And you always want to address any issues in that order, unless there's some information you know that kind of supersedes that. But in this situation, I'm almost certain it has something to do with the fuel system. I know that I was getting good spark on this. The ignition system is very likely not compromised. So I'm going to dig into this. I'm going to grab my borescope and I'm going to take a look inside the tank and see what I can find. All right, I'm going to try and capture this so you guys can see what's going on here, but I'm putting the borescope inside here and I can see there's a little bit of surface rust here. This is nothing really bad. The bottom of the tank is really quite clean. We're going down towards the end of the tank here. You can see both the bungs right there, which let fuel out. Looks like we have some sediment here, or the residue of gasoline drying up. So I'm guessing that we had some hot days, all the fuel evaporated out of the vent. There probably wasn't much left in here to begin with, but we can see this stuff is it's just dried up old gas. So I think my first order here is going to be to pull this tank off. I'm going to flush it out. I'm going to get a little bit of evapor rust in there to clean up any of the rust, all that garbage. We'll get rid of all that, clean up the tank, and give it a fresh coat of red coat. That's going to be my first order of business. So while I'm doing that, I'm going to use a fuel IV bag, this guy here, so I can continue with my diagnosis of the bike. I'll put fuel in that, and I will hook my carbs up, and I will see how the bike runs. If I do not get good firing, it's running like absolute ass, then we'll pull the carbs. Okay, so what I've done is I've unplugged the fuel line from the petcock here, and I've got my IV bag full of fuel, and I replaced some of the lines because they were a little brittle, and the fuel filter is actually full of some gunk. So clean that out. We are now ready to do a little test on our carburetor. I'm gonna thread this up over the bars so I get the benefit of gravity pushing this fuel. And we open the petcock. All right, we got positive fuel flow. You can see through here. So we are now feeding fuel into the carbs. I do not see any fuel leaking. That is a good sign. That makes me happy. Nothing over here either. Now it appears that we have enough fuel in the carbs and the line. I'm gonna try and turn this puppy over and see what happens. Excellent. Let's open the chokes. All right, going to shut the key off. Next step. So my next step here is going to be to spray some starter fluid into the carbs. And we're going to try and fire it up again.
It's all right. All right, I've got heat on rear cylinder, nothing coming up front. Front cold. Rear is getting warm, I can feel it.
All right, so here's what I think. I think that we have a gummed up carburetor situation, most likely the carburetor feeding the front cylinder. That's on the other side of the bike. So my next step here is I'm going to pull the carbs off. To do that, I am going to remove the stacks first, and then we'll get this puppy to the bench and open her up. So what I'm going to do now to remove the fuel line, I have these little pinchers here, these little clamps, and I just pinch the fuel line like that. I'm going to pull out the barb here while pinching this one with my fingers. There we go. Oh, got a little spurtage. And shut it off. There might still be a little bit in there. Yeah, there's a tiny bit. That's okay. But that's why I have this fitting here, so I can then hook it up here. All right, this is the carb off the bike. I'm going to drain the fuel out of it. We have an issue with the front carb, meaning this guy here, this is feeding our front cylinder. So I'm going to open this one up first and see what's going on inside the float bowl after I drain the fuel. Okay, I'm going to get the carbs back in here. Goody goody gumdrops. Put that one in the boot. Hardest part is all the walking you have to do to go around each side of the bike. That's why you gotta do your cardio. Can't just do deadlifts, even though they're fun. For all y'all that complain about, oh, I gotta pull carbs out over and over again. Dude, it's not that hard. As long as you lube the inside of your boots, getting that in and out is not bad. It's literally just slide them in one way, rotate them forward, and they pop right in. Easy peasy. So what I did on this carburetor is I pulled the float bowl on this side, which feeds the front cylinder, and the pilot jet was clogged. There was no light showing through. Cleaned it out, checked it with a light. It looks fine. I am going to hook the fuel IV up to it, and we're going to see if this cylinder is firing now. So still getting a non-fire situation from the front cylinder. Put some starter fluid in there, got a little bit of fire from the front, then it just stopped firing altogether. So on to the next thing. So we are chasing problems, and at this point, the bike will idle erratically, and I am getting afterfire, which is popping and burbling sounds from the exhaust. And that could be a couple things. That could be I am getting intermittent fire from the coils. The plugs are intermittently firing. I was having issue with the coil feeding the front cylinder not firing. Spark was a little weak. Not sure what that's about, but after putting new spark plugs in, testing the resistance on the primary, the secondary, the resistor caps, the wires, everything checks out. I've got good resistance on the coils. The next thing I'm gonna try here is syncing the carburetors. We're gonna sync them. I'm gonna test the exhaust gaskets on this bike. Probably gonna pull the pipes off, put new gaskets in just to ensure we have a good seal there. The pipes have no leaks whatsoever. All these things can contribute to afterfire. Unburnt gas in the exhaust can do this as well. So, kind of going down the list. One day down, still more work. She still ain't running. Whee! So why did we stop here and what is next? Not everything works out the way you expected. And this is the point at which I take the infernal machine to a professional. Just kidding. No shame though if you want to do that. I know not everyone has a bunch of really rad tools to do some of this stuff, but hopefully this video gave you some confidence to at least dig into your bike. If it doesn't work and you tear into it, the worst thing that could possibly happen is it still doesn't work and you have to take it to a pro. But you've learned something in the process. Now I'll cover some more advanced diagnostics in another video, so if you want to see that, subscribe.